Hi, I'm Jaya Sheila Dromer from SapphireEyesProductions.com. I'm here to present a wonderful documentary on a group of girls from the Sacred Heart Primary School in Mildura. They have spent the last 5 months researching about frogs and river health and what is affecting the frogs around the world and particularly in their region in Victoria. I hope you enjoy this presentation. So Rosemary, you've been working on this project with the kids for quite some time. Can you just give a very basic rundown of how much work has gone in with these 6 kids to prepare?
Yeah, they were real slave drivers. They kept saying, can we work longer? Sometimes I'd say to them, well, perhaps we'll just go to 2 o'clock and say, oh, can we stay till 4? How many times we worked really late. They've been working every Sunday for a long time now, and they actually worked all the holidays, the last holidays, because we knew that when we came out of those holidays they had to have each of their various tasks completed, because there wouldn't be any more work time after that.
My name's Paula Robinson and I work at the Mallee Catchment Management Authority. My role with the children from Sacred Heart Primary School this year was to be their mentor for the River Health Conference. So as part of that I introduced them to all of the frogs that live in the Mallee and gave them the background information and technical information they required, and helped them just make sure that they stayed on track and factual with their scientific knowledge for the conference.
They would have to practice their completed presentation with a real audience, and they needed to practice it to get their timing right and to make sure that their plans really worked in a practical sense once you had people.
Day after day, obviously, they've been working on this project. What is this project about?
The project is about frogs in the water system, I believe, in the lakes and the rivers, and their possibility of becoming extinct because of the takeover of introduced species.
Students and Rosemary have been amazing. They've been working on it for months and months, and as I said, I went in early and just gave them a background as to the types of frogs that were around, and they picked up on little bits of information and ran with some and left some, and it was just amazing to see them grow from not really knowing very much about the frogs at all to being quite experts.
And what other elements make frogs extinct?
The lack of water, really, I suppose, in areas. The drought.
Hi, I'm Louise and I'm one of the volunteer mums at school.
And what have you seen the kids been doing here the last few weeks?
Preparing for their presentation for Adelaide on their Think Frogs presentation.
And how much work have these kids put in?
They've put an enormous effort in. I believe they had even sacrificed their school holidays for it.
So is chemicals a big problem for frogs?
Yes, chemicals can be a very big problem. If we're not careful, they will become extinct.
What do you think might happen if frogs disappeared?
There'll be a gap somewhere that nothing else can fill.
So it's important that people really get alert to the fact that frogs are disappearing.
And they do have a purpose, I suppose.
Definitely chemicals, that they become exposed to chemicals with all the irrigation and the pesticides being used.
And so should people be very careful about how they use pesticides?
Oh, definitely.
These girls need to practice. They can't practice on their own, they need to practice with people. So we really appreciate it if you do everything they ask, if you listen really carefully and try to do things as well as you can. Okay? Don't ask them the things that are said silly. No, they've got all the things ready and all the answers and all the information. So you're here to learn, and they're here to share what they have learned.
Hello, today you will be taken on a very important journey of discovery.
Louder.
On this wonderful quest, you will all need to work together. These special people around me are my apprentices.
So what's this? What have you made here?
Our cake that it's got our school name, it's got what we're doing in the conference,
Which is
it's
Take
got
Action, Think
our,
Frogs.
What's it about?
Take Action, Think Frogs.
these are just things that Merlin reminds us of.
And who's Merlin?
It's like kind of a mascot.
Yeah, mascot.
So what are the kids doing here?
Well, they're all doing the tasks that they've prepared. Each of the tasks is leading these people who've come in to learn more about frogs, what endangers them, also ways to help them. Little things that we can all do to help frogs.
So this is a very interactive task. So how long has it taken for you to prepare this?
These children, the 6 girls, have worked for a lot of months. They started in May, and finally they work every single day at their last holidays. So it's been a big undertaking, and they've had a lot to prepare. But they were the ones that decided what to prepare.
So it's very successful.
I hope so. One of the things that I've noticed in working with children where they are researching their own topic and taking responsibility for their own learning is that they go way beyond the sort of work that they would do in their classrooms. They really get into deep level thinking where they're researching and they're thinking really carefully about the appropriateness of the information they find, whether or not they can use it, whether it is what they need. And you notice a lot of this very wonderful deep level thinking as they discuss and they talk things through and they make decisions about using information, about changing it, adding to it, finding more, accuracy. So it's really very interesting what happens as children who know exactly what they need and want make decisions about what's out there and what they discover.
Oh, we have a frog down here. Who's this? Is this the frog girl, Michaela? And what's your job, Michaela?
I'm Merlin Pobblebonk, and I have to give them a puzzle piece every time they've finished their task.
Right, and so do you have a sound that you make?
No, it's the CD player.
So what's the sound? What's the sound?
It's a bonk.
A bonk.
That's why it's called Pobblebonk.
It's good fun. And what's your frog's name?
Merlin.
Merlin.
Well, this is Pobblebonk.
And what does Merlin do?
Give the puzzle pieces to the people.
You know, it never ceases to amaze me how willing these kids have been to work. You know, they'd ring up their parents and say, "Oh, can we stay longer? Can you pick me up in an hour's time?" Or they never ever complained that they had to come back and work. And we were going through the holidays, and every single day we were coming. And we started off, at first, they'd come at 10, they'd say, "Oh, can we come at 9? Can we start at 9? So from then on, we would always work from 9, right through to the end of the day, sometimes 3:30, sometimes 4. Never complained. They never got sick of coming.
Is this all the children here, is it? All the kids that have been involved?
Yeah. Georgia.
So there was that love of learning.
Well, obviously it was theirs. They owned it, and they felt responsible for getting it done.
So they told you what to do?
Oh, yes. And they, oh, that's right, they would make decisions. They'd just say to me, "Oh, Mrs. Olive, we're taking a break now. You'll find us out in the playground." And this is what they do. They'd just take a bit of time off. And then they'd come back in and they'd be at it again. Or this was very interesting too, that many times they would be working on a particular aspect of their presentation and then they'd leave it. And then they'd get into something else. And then they'd come back to it. all without my saying, this is what you got to do. I never ever said, this is what you got to do. I would ask them, is that what you need to do? You know, do you think this will work? What do you think you might need to do to make this work? What ideas have you got? Yeah, they're mostly questions. That's mostly my role was to question them, I guess, and just to put in front of them some things they may not have thought of. And many times they wouldn't agree with me. And if I got a little bit perturbed that they weren't getting as much work done as maybe I thought they should get done, oh, don't get stressed, Mrs. Sarlik. You're getting stressed. We'll make it. We'll be fine. Oh, dear. It's quite funny, really.
The purpose of this interactive, wonderful game that all the kids are involved with, what do the kids actually have to do?
The kids have to learn about frogs, and at the end there's a big saying. But before they get that, they have to get a certificate.
Once I give them this certificate,
yep,
they have to go over to Merlin's box, knock on the door, and Merlin will give them a puzzle case. And at the end, that will be helping the big discovery.
Great. So what do the kids have to do to get a certificate?
Well, the one that works the best, the one that cooperates and helps each other. Yeah.
So the students have to behave themselves and learn
And
well.
work together.
And work together. So it's very cooperative.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of things.
For each of the games, what sort of research went into, first of all, even thinking up the games, but then just getting the facts and figures right about the frogs?
Well, they did a lot of research. They collected a lot of information along the way, and they didn't end up using all of it. But they started just researching generally about frogs. You know, they wanted to hone in on Australian frogs. They found some great footage on YouTube and various films and things that gave them a lot of general overview of frogs. And they actually got the idea that frogs worldwide are in trouble. They found that out. And then they wanted to find out about Australian frogs. And then they decided that they would just focus on Australian frogs. And in particular, they decided they wanted to focus on frogs where we come from. Except one of the girls, she wanted to cover all the statuses, the status of the Australian frogs. So she did an enormous amount of research to find out just what the status is, and in particular what risks and threats were affecting frogs, just what was causing them to become endangered, what was creating that change that frogs outsurvived the dinosaurs. And you know, they're real survivors and real adapters to change and to the environment. And yet that the girls discovered that, wow, in the last few years, you know, in recent times, 1/3 of our frog population worldwide has gone. So they were very worried about that.
What's Task 5 mean?
We're playing a game called Mix and Match Frog Habitat.
And what do we have to do for that?
You've got to find the frog, and then you've got to place it in its habitat.
Lucy,
This is like the quiz and they're the answers. So you've got to work together, and by looking at the facts, you've got to try and find these. So the first question is, the eastern common froglet is important to what wetland animals? The eastern common froglet is an important fruitos to what wetland animal? And you've got to find it in these.
What kind of chemicals and things might be affecting frogs that you might have an idea of?
Oh, well, I know there's a wide range of pesticides, weedicides, herbicides, all that for farm chemicals. Especially in an area like this, there's a lot of farm chemicals floating around.
No, it's not birds.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah, it is.
You got that right. Next, the barking marsh frog is also known as the barking frog, the Fletcher's frog, and the long thumbs. Yeah. He's helping. Where is the eastern sign-bearing frog? Where is the eastern sign-bearing frog is mostly found?
Dams.
Near dams.
Near dams.
So Alan, you're here with the kids, and what do you think, what have the children been doing?
Well, I reckon it's fantastic. I think they're learning about frogs and the environment and the importance of frogs in the environment and how we should care for them. And they're a very good indicator of the condition of the habitat as well.
The eastern banjo frog has lots of common names like the bullfrog, the four-bob frog and the spotted marsh frog is found near and then you also get a copy of the River Times.
Ah, so they can take that with them?
Yep.
And who did all the research for this? Did you do the research on this?
Yep.
You did. And how long did it take for you to learn to put it all together?
We probably started in about May.
Wow, and what month are we now?
October.
So it's been a lot of work, hasn't it?
Yep.
Goodness me. And you've enjoyed learning about frogs? Yep. Tell me what this particular teaching is all about. What are you trying to teach the kids here?
Just how to look after all the frogs. It's just getting the status and showing them how many endangered ones there are.
It's 53 endangered frogs.
Yep.
And what makes a frog become endangered?
Just habitat destruction, citrus fungus, and pretty much road destruction, like running them over and all that.
And so what do they have to do? They have to match up?
Well, they've got to read out all their threats and everything, and then once they've done that, they've got to find their frog and put it where it goes, and then I'll put a dot where it comes from.
So that's matching it up to areas in Australia where they're endangered or threatened?
Yeah.
Yes?
And they found out little things that affect frogs. For instance, if you've got hand cream on or perfume on your hand and you're holding a little frog, that will go into their skin. You know, they're really taken with that understanding of it. And I know that there was one photo that they found, and they had actually used it to name their tables. Way back in the early days of their work, they decided to name each of their table groups with a different frog from this area. And one of the pictures they'd used originally was of a person holding a little frog in the hand. They cut that picture out and decided we would be advocating holding frogs if we used that picture, so they didn't use any picture of anyone holding frogs.
If people find frogs, how should they handle them?
Well, if they find them, they shouldn't pick them up, but if they need to, they should have clean hands with no chemicals on them, or gloves that don't have any chemicals on them either.
And why wouldn't they be able to have any chemicals on their hands?
Because frogs soak up chemicals and bad stuff through their skin, and it kills them easily.
If people find frogs, what should they do? Should they touch them or pick them up?
No, just leave it where it is. You can look at it, take pictures and all, but just don't touch it because it absorbs all the cream and stuff that's on your hands.
So cream can cause them to be burned or poisoned?
Poisoned because they breathe through their skin and they can absorb anything through their skin.
They got to wash their hands before they pick them up because the moisture and the cream and oils in their hands kills the frog.
So no soap? Should you use soap?
No.
No, just plain water?
Just plain water.
So have you guys had fun?
Yeah, seems good.
Have lots of fun, and what did you learn? Have you learnt anything?
Yep, I've learned about how the places come from Queensland, the frogs, and they're all pretty endangered there.
And what causes a frog to become endangered?
People running over them.
People running over them, what, with cars?
Yeah,
and
like that.
So what should people do if they find frogs?
Stop running over them.
Stop running over them?
Take care of them, keep them safe.
You're about to go down to Adelaide to the River Health Conference.
Yeah.
Do you feel your kids are ready for such a challenge, and how do you think they're going to fare?
Oh, I think they'll be terrific. They've still got 2 more practices, and they had 2 practices today, which are really, really highly valuable, because when you have a theory and an idea and you actually put it into practice, the theory and idea doesn't always quite work out the way you thought it would work out.
So as a teacher, watching the students pretty much blossom into what we're seeing in the footage at the moment, how do you feel as a teacher watching them?
Well, I like the word blossom that you used, because yeah, they have really blossomed as researchers. They became very discerning in deciding whether a piece of information was relevant, whether they want to use it, whether it was appropriate for what they needed. And I remember that working with Georgia Meehan, and she was gathering all the risks and the threats. She needed them for her game, because in her game it was based on snakes and ladders, where if something good happens you can go up the ladder, and if something bad happens you go down the snake. And so then what she needed to do was she wanted to find all the different things that were threats and risks to frogs, but then she also wanted to find all the things that are helpful to frogs. So she did a lot of research, a lot of searching and finding to get the balance of things. She actually found a lot more threats and risks than the good things, but she ended up with a wonderful list, and it was so good. And when she found, in actually playing the game, not many of the threats and risks that she had prepared did her group get to read and to use, because they were, only playing the game for a short time. So then she decided to put together a handout so people could take that with them, and they could reflect and have a look at the valuable information that she found, so they can be aware of just what things people do that can risk frogs' lives and cause them to become endangered or even to disappear.
So Georgia, tell me a little bit about what your game is about and what it's teaching the students.
Well, it's snakes and ladders, and all they do is they learn information of these cards, and if you learn on the blue square, you pick up a card, it's got lots of information on it. Information that about threats and risks to frogs, and information that you can do to help them. 6. Alright, so now draw a card.
Climate change has caused drought.
And now you pick up again. And you just keep on going.
So you're enjoying the game, kids? Yeah?
It's just a
box. What you do is take the rock out of the box. Put the picture at the front and the name at the back. 2. Take a booklet to these. Find your frog's habitat and then take it to the frog's habitat. So say I had the southern brown tree frog. I'd find the southern brown tree frog, I'd look at the name, I'd match it with the picture. Then you have to read it and see it says, please put me in the floodplains. So you'd have to go to the floodplains and find all the yellow pieces in the floodplains.
Hang on, we'll just find it.
There it is.
Ribbons toddler. Okay.
I am found in dry, damp habitat.
What are these kids doing here, if I could ask?
Well, they've all got a task to do, and on task 1 they've all got a different frog, and they've gone to the area where their frog lives in its habitat, and they're finding the puzzle pieces and taking it back.
The yellow one.
It's very interactive, isn't it? This is good fun. This is real fun learning. And what's your role here? What do you do here?
Well, I'm Maggie's cousin and I've just flown in from Perth to come and visit them for a holiday, so I'm just here to help them out and to see what they're doing.
Are you having great fun?
Yeah, it's great fun. They've done a great job. Yeah.
What are we doing at this table here?
We're flipping over the frog pictures, and then with the information sheets we're finding the information, and this frog is a spotted marsh frog, so I'll be reading the spotted marsh frog paragraph and the information on that, and Matt will be doing
The Mallee spadefoot toad.
Just keep going. It's a race to see if we get. I'm reading about the common spadefoot toad and trying to do a quest about it.
So tell me what your little card says.
Adults are most often found in dry habitats including woodland, shrubland, mallee open and disturbed areas. Within these habitats they may be found wandering on moist nights far from the nearest permanent water. Eggs and tadpoles are aquatic. The eggs are spawned in ponds, dams, ditches and flood playpans.
So without looking at your little card, what do you remember that you've just learned?
That adults are mostly found, I think, near shrublands, ditches and streams and wetlands.
What's this game all about?
Finding habitats and environments that they live in. You've got to go to each environment to get some different things.
So what do we have to actually do? We have to take little numbers and match them?
No, you got to pick one up, match it to the one here. Then you got to look at the clue card, and you get the clue card, and then you do whatever it says on the clue card.
So for instance, what have we got here?
Go to the lake and look at the lily pad with 4 others surrounding it. And you will find your description for the ground grass. What are you doing? The lake's okay.
And so what are the kids learning about? Are they learning about habitat, are they?
Yeah.
So chemicals don't just affect humans, they actually destroy wildlife and aquatic life as well.
Yeah, yes, well they affect every organism, don't they? And the question is, do we really know the effects that are happening at the moment? Is anyone really checking all these things with nitty-gritty detail? Frogs are obviously being wiped out. That's what we've learnt from the kids. So you've got to ask the question, why? Why are they being wiped out?
We were learning that approximately 1/3 of the species around the world are close to extinction.
Yes.
And that's just been in the last few years that it's really brought it to that point. So should people be alarmed at this high incidence of chemical poisoning?
Yeah, well, you've got a number of reasons. You've got viruses and chemicals and and probably a lot of it comes from introduced species as well. There'd be a whole myriad of different reasons, but I would say chemicals are a large part of it. Yeah, I reckon people should be alarmed at all the chemicals just in general in the world that are being pumped out.
I've got a freezer, an old freezer in the yard that I keep pieces of wood in, and on a warm day if you lift up the lid there'll be frogs sitting around the rim of the door, various sizes, little ones to about that big, just enjoying the warmth. And once you've lifted up the lid they'll jump back into the pile of wood and disappear. They must live down the bottom of it and eat insects and that, I guess.
A puzzle piece. What do the puzzle pieces make?
A big frog.
They make a big frog?
Yeah.
That's cool.
For example, you've got the Canadian government put out a water quality guidelines for the protection of aquatic life and inorganic fluorides, which are in a lot of different products such as pesticides and drinking water. And their upper limit for the protection of fish, freshwater fish, was 0.12 milligrams per litre, and there'd be a lot higher concentrations of pesticides going in and through the water as well. So you've got to ask the question, if fish are that sensitive, and how sensitive are frogs, when we've obviously learned today that frogs are the most sensitive of all. So I reckon their protective limit would be far lower for these types of nasties in the environment.
And then they put the puzzle together at the end, and on the puzzle say, take action, think frogs.
On the ground. No, you gotta actually put it together. Okay. Taylor, where's yours? This is wait, that one goes here. Put it this one. Guys, you don't want to do it the right way up. That could help. We'll turn it this way. Yeah, here's the piece because I can't even get through. Yeah, that one goes here. The frog. I want the frog. It goes in there. It goes in there. It goes in there. It goes in there. Frogs.
Okay, stand up. As soon as you've done it.
And I got the eye. Hey, I can do it. That goes down. That goes there. There. Where does that go? Go down there. Down there, Taylor.
Oh, quick jump now. Quick jump.
1, 2, 3.
Take action, think frogs!
What sort of words have you got to say about the kids' efforts here?
Enormous, fantastic, just and for the sacrifice for children at this age to make is just magnificent, I think.
You're about to go down to Adelaide to the River Health Conference.
Yeah.
Do you feel your kids are ready for such a challenge, and how do you think they're going to fare?
I think they'll be terrific. They've still got 2 more practices, and they had 2 practices today, which are really, really highly valuable, because when you have a theory and an idea and you actually put it into practice, the theory and idea doesn't always quite work out the way you thought it would work out. I think after these 2 practices tomorrow, they'll be well and truly able to cope with whatever challenges arise in Adelaide. I'm just packing the last box, and this little house is a little fragile, so it needs to get a box on its own. And I'm also putting the fish in. An interesting thing about these were used at previous River Health conferences, and they played a very different part because they were part of a different presentation. This is the spotted gudgeon, and the spotted gudgeon was part of a presentation, I think it was called Help Us, Don't Lose Us. So the message of that one was preservation of the fish. These all were, backup characters. And I remember the little shrimp, he played a very important part. He actually had a birthday in the story. So we're using these in the river, which is, it's really nice that in this presentation we've been able to recycle some of the stuff we used in earlier River Health conferences. That would have taken quite a long time to make. This beautiful little shrimpy. So he's going to be in our river. This River Times encapsulates all the content that the girls in their presentation provided or gave people. They've thrown a few little extra things in as well. I did this lovely research and found out about frog feet, frog eggs. So that's good. So people can, at the conference, they'll be given one of these to take away, and they'll be able to read them at their leisure. And it offers some wonderful ways that they can help frogs. It tells them why frogs are special, and shows them the status of our local frogs. It talks about habitats. What a team! What a fabulous team!
Yes, it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful.
This is for everybody out there.
Beautiful girls are all ready. This is what they've worked for. It'll be the culmination of all their efforts, and they will be fantastic.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to taking these kids to Adelaide on their excursion.
Sacred Heart Primary School River Health Conference. Take action, think frogs.
Are you excited?
Yes! Mildura West Primary School. Can't afford to live without them. Oryville Secondary College River Health Conference. Nature knows best.
Oryville Secondary College River Health Conference 2011. Nature knows best.
What school are you from?
Mildura West.
And what is your presentation about?
It's about wetlands and how important they are to go road. So we have our character Bernie Bridges, which is a rich developer who wants to destroy the wetlands to make more money. And we have to go through and we have to show them that the wetlands are good and wise and they should be safe, but we need them.
I'm standing here outside the Adelaide Convention Centre. It's an absolutely glorious day. I'm about to film the final segment to a presentation that took approximately 5 months to research and get together for the 6 girls from Sacred Heart Primary School in Mildura. So I hope you enjoy, sit down, relax and take in what these wonderful kids have put together about Australia's disappearing frogs. How's it be to be amongst all these international people and kids? Pretty exciting? Yeah.
In their presentation, students from Sacred Heart Primary School Mildura educate International River Health Conference delegates about the importance of frogs as frontline environmental bioindicators, the dangers that frogs are confronted with in their local habitats, and how these threats are affecting frog status and numbers. The students specifically focus on the frogs in the wetlands and waterways of the Mallee region in Victoria. Practical ideas and ways of looking after frogs to secure their future in the local environment will be presented, and students are encouraged to take action, think frogs.
Welcome. We're from Sacred Heart Primary School, Mildura, Victoria. Today we will be focusing on frogs and how important they are to our environment and ecosystems. Firstly, we would love to introduce you to Merlin, the wise old frog. Not yet, Merlin. We call him old because he's been around for thousands of years. He's a Pulpong member and belongs to a very large Myobatrachidae family. As you all know, Myobatrachidae are not tree climbing frogs.
Hello! Today you'll be taken on a very important journey of discovery. On this wonderful quest you will all need to work together. These special people around me are my apprentices. Let's meet them.
Hello again, I'm Georgia Robertson and I'm at the Spotted Marsh Frog table.
Hi, I'm Georgia Meaden and I am working at the Eastern Common Froglet table.
I'm Maggie Sheehan and I'm working at the Eastern Banjo Frog table, Merlin's relatives.
I'm Maddie Frankel and I'm working at the Mallee Spade Frog table.
And I'm Lucy Memory and my table group is the Parents Tree Frog.
Somewhere along your journey you will receive something of great importance to me. All will be revealed at the end. Take care, as dark forces are on the lookout.
So here we are in the room and the kids are actually doing their performance or their presentation, and all the newcomers come in and they go from table to table to table. They get about 5 minutes per table. They do the little tasks, they earn a certificate and they gather up the frog pieces. It's extremely exciting.
I'm Diane Membry and I'm one of the parents from Sacred Heart School, and I've come along to the conference this year to generally help out, and the children are absolutely fantastic, wonderful. They were working every day of their holidays, they didn't complain. As you can see, it's working out fantastically, and yeah, just very, very proud of all of them.
Have they had problems and challenges they've had to overcome?
Look, I think they work really well as a group together. There's 5 grade 6 girls and 1 grade 4 girl. No boys, obviously, they didn't make the grade. Look, I just think, you know, from concept to where they've come, is just, you know, it's been huge. Mrs. Arlick has just guided them, you know, not actually, you know, directed them or anything. They've done all that themselves. So I think it's wonderful. I'm actually amazed to actually see the finished product. Thanks.
Just about to live stream Sacred Heart live to the web. So the web stream setup here, obviously we've got our camera here, it's an HD camera plugged into this new TriCaster. So essentially it's a video switcher, so I can simply switch between different inputs. You can see right there, and what else have we got? We've got a still in here, a few different things like that. And you know, we can do things like a picture-in-picture, and it also is doing the web streaming. This device here is actually just doing a record, so that we've got a record of it. Just using a Mac here, just to monitor off the website that it's going to air all right. Simple as that.
How are you finding the actual presentation today?
Stressful.
Stressful? Why is that?
Because we have to get all the timing on right.
Yes. Might have to do it again. Take it, take it. Kids are moving. The frog has called and the kids are on the move. A bit like frogs at night time. Hop, hop, hop from table to table. Rosemary, how do you think the kids are faring?
Good. They're doing a great job.
Flip it over, and if you read that, you read that, and that text and that text should mean the same thing. And then if it does, which it does, you've got to place that frog on the habitat river.
I think I better choose a sign here.
First, you all get a copy of the River Times. You can take home to read. You can either keep them in your hand or you can go put them in your bag.
Can anybody tell me what you actually have to do for this game?
Well, you have to take one of these and you have to read it and pick a picture of the frog that it matches.
Yeah, got it. Yep. Are there any questions? Okay, then you can start.
Grasslands.
Yes.
My name's Michelle. I've just been whizzing around the workshop room. I've seen some fabulous workshops, dances, songs, activities, games, all action-packed. Awesome, learn heaps.
I'm Margaret Sidorak and I'm one of the grandmothers here with the Mildura Sacred Heart School, and this is a fantastic program for the children. Not only is it educational, but it's just wonderful for everybody and how the children intermingle and how they mix. And it's so educational, and I have to tell you a secret, it's so much work involved, months and months of planning in this work. And I wish all the children very well.
Hi, I'm Jeff Perry from Hawthorne Dean Primary School, which is a school here in the Adelaide Hills.
and we're down here with 10 students who are our environmental committee, and we've seen lots of amazing things here today. The last session we went to was a great one from Lang, which is about saving the turtles which had this salt encrusted worm living on its back. So it was very entertaining and very interesting to watch.
And how are you finding this one here on frogs?
This is fantastic actually, the interactive way that the students are involving other students and engaging them with lots of hands-on activities. I think they're learning quite a bit of information not only from South Australia's frog population but also the diversity of frogs around Australia-wide.
So what's the greatest threat to frogs?
Probably changes in habitat, just the clearing of land and the weeds taking over their native habitat, and other introduced species that might eat their eggs, like the gambusia fish and things like that.
Do you have cane toads down here?
There's been a couple of sightings of cane toads, but it's always come back to the fact that they've hitched a ride in a caravan or a truck or something that's come down from Queensland. So no, they don't exist here yet. I think it's probably too cold for them down here. They've definitely spread across the top of the tropical section, but they certainly haven't come this far south yet.
How's this going, Maggie? Is it going well?
Yes.
Have you had any problems teaching the kids, or are they all getting it pretty quickly?
They're getting it pretty quickly when I explain it to them.
Well done. In fact, I've just had word that they love the presentation and they're very impressed with how much hard work has gone into it.
Okay. So you got one? You got to keep going.
Which are the most endangered of all of the mallee frogs?
The growling grass frog is the most endangered one. Its habitat's been taken over by various exotic animals, and it falls prey to foxes and things like that. So it's had a bit of a hard run and is quite low in numbers at the moment.
Yeah, if you get it,
and then you put it under its status, so these are vulnerable, dangerous, or extinct.
just get one and then just put that one back. So that's
So you come here and put it under vulnerable.
Well, today I've been taking the primary kids round as opposed to the secondary school children yesterday, and I am so ecstatic with what's been happening today, because the primary school kids are so engaging, always willing to put forward an answer, really responding to questions, and I'm really impressed with this particular presentation. They've put so much effort into it. And it does blow my mind to see kids learning and interacting with each other, because I think it's quite a different dynamic compared with, for example, in the classroom when you have a teacher lecturing things. And I've seen some really positive things, especially yesterday in particular, just the effort that kids put in when they go over and introduce themselves to somebody, to another child. They're always well received, and they just start talking and sharing ideas, and it's really good.
I'm amazed at the 750 children registered at this conference, obviously of varying ages, and their behaviour has been impeccable. And as the commentator was saying this morning, if you've ever been to an adults conference and somebody's speaking, they don't actually bother to stop talking, they just keep on with their own conversation. But here, if someone's up on stage speaking, all the children are focused. And yeah, for 750 children, it's you know, amazing.
What's this box called?
Frog box.
And what does it do?
You call out the frog, the frog on the rock, and then you have to find it in the book.
And then they put the rock somewhere?
No, they put the rock back in here, back in the frog box. Yep. So they're the ones that are already done. And they go to the habitat and collect all the blue puzzle pieces.
Okay, so we're playing a game of snakes and ladders, and it's called Numerous Dimensions Take Frogs. But everyone plays snakes and ladders. It's the same, it's just if you're in a blue square, you pick up one of these cards, has a number on the back, whatever number's on the back, you pick up from that file, you read it out loud, and then you do as it says. So it could say go back 3 times. Okay? So now you go again.
Pick me another card. That one, 3. Urbanisation is responsible for habitat loss, -11. 1.
Do you think the kids are understanding what you're teaching?
Yes.
Yes?
Hi, I'm Rebecca and I'm here as a volunteer with AYCC Canberra. I'm learning all about frogs here, so I've learned about what frogs are endangered, and I'm currently learning where frogs are in different habitats.
Do you think the kids have done a great job?
They've done a fabulous job. I've seen so many great presentations, really successful ones. It's really inspiring to see how many kids are out there and really committed to environmental issues and things like that.
So you've done a few games now. How are you finding this presentation? Is it interesting and are you finding it educational?
Yes, it's really fun. I think it's one of the best ones I've been to.
Great.
Learning lots about all of the frogs all around Australia.
So what have you learned so far about frogs?
That a lot of them are becoming like threatened and endangered. A few of them are extinct, and it's all because of us.
And do you think there's things that we can do to prevent the extinction of frogs?
Yeah, definitely.
So what do you think we might be able to do?
Well, we could start by chopping down trees and their habitat, so we can save them.
And have you learned how to touch frogs yet?
We have to have wet hands.
Yes.
Something goes wrong, frogs are the first to disappear.
It's an amazing thing to know, really. It is.
Don't read, just describe it.
Thank you. Got that. Well done. We should turn to and everybody, and I mean everybody, on the count of 3, yell out the words, take action, think frogs. 1, 2, 3. Take action, think frogs.
I pledge to help frogs in as many ways as I can. I take the opportunity to tell others about how special frogs are to the environment.
About how special frogs are to the environment. Well done. Thank you for being a part of Maryland's little group. We enjoyed our time with you. Now turn to your leaders to get a copy of the pledge and a copy of the evaluation sheet.
presentation of Take Action, Think Frogs, we caught up with Kids Teaching Kids director Aaron Wood. Aaron grew up on the banks of the Murray River in Mildura, Victoria. He is an international award-winning speaker with a passion for getting young people involved in environmental awareness. His book Billabong Boy was released in 2010.
Aaron Wood, founder of Kids Teaching Kids and the International Kids Teaching Kids River Conference. It's just been fantastic. So many great optimistic and hopeful messages, and I just think, you know, when you have so many kids come through the program like this, you can't help but go away inspired. So I think we've got, you know, over 2,000 kids over the 3 days. And I just think, you know, when they go back into their schools and go back into their communities, they're going to inspire more environmental action. So it's great stuff, very inspiring.
Right, just tell me a little bit about your book.
This is Billabong Boy. It's my life story. I grew up on a billabong, and it's all about sort of the struggles I had to find my space in the environmental industry and to really get going in that industry. So I hope it inspires other young people to keep on maintaining the rage if they can't quite get into the industry. But yeah, it's a little bit of a hopeful story as well.
Girls, it's all over. How did you go? And what do you think about the whole festival?
It was great. One thing that I learned that you don't have to stay quiet in a corner. You can come out and talk what you think about something. It's better to let it out than keep it all bottled in. Yeah.
So do you think the kids learned? There were a lot of kids here. Do you think they learnt a lot?
Yes.
Was it fun?
Yes. It's good to have the opportunity. Yeah. I'm in shock.
Why are you in shock?
Because
it's all over?
Yep.
And do you reckon your group went well?
Yep.
I think she's in shock because she was such a star.
Yeah, they all were. It was fantastic. So anything else you'd like to say to your fellow schoolmates? Should they be interested in doing something like this?
Well, if you get the chance, yes.
It's a great event, hey?
To take it, to show
Do you think after your practices were worthwhile?
Definitely, yeah. If we didn't have those practices, we would have been here. Well, we would be here, but we would be shocking.
It's given us a lot of confidence to do more things.
My name is Georgia Meehan, and I'm from Sacred Heart Primary School in Mildura in Victoria, and we come to the River Held Conference to talk about frogs. In our presentation we specifically focused on the mallee frogs, and Sacred Heart has been going to the River Held Conference for a couple of years now, and we have been preparing our presentation since May. We have learned many things about how special frogs are to the environment and how to look after them, and we came to learn about other things as well.
So Rosemary, you have survived another year of going all the way down to Adelaide and taking those beautiful children to do their presentation. Have you some reflections on the whole process, and how do you feel today?
It's a lovely, wonderful process. Every 2 years, absolutely worth it. These girls have come back transformed as people. They've been with 750 other like-minded kids. They've heard other people talking about the environment. They've discovered what other people do, some of the ways that they cope with various environmental issues, and they've heard about the passions that others have for the environment. I don't think they'll ever be the same. That it really does transform them to have that sort of experience. And they have been successful. You know, they've done all this work and they've worked hard. A couple of them cried along the way, you know, things got a bit tough. But they overcame all the problems, and well, not all the problems, but the challenges that they had along the way, and then they delivered, and they delivered extremely well, and they worked together as a really good team. And they celebrated well last night as a team. The girls got together in the room and had a wonderful time. They were very happy with themselves. And I was very proud to be with them.
So you do it all again next year?
Oh, I would do it again every time. Every time. It's absolutely worth it. There's nothing quite like it, really.
What practical measures can anybody take, adults teaching children or children teaching adults, to assist in the recovery or even the stopping of the extinction of these frogs?
As adults, I think it's important just to be good role models in terms of responsible environmental behaviour. So just simple things like not polluting and not removing native vegetation, not touching the frogs, all of those sorts of basic things are a really good way to start. And just being aware of what's out there and the sorts of habitat that are required for the frogs.
Parents? Well, I've not ever had a parent not supportive of this sort of work. But I would say to the parents, look, it's really wonderful for your child to be involved. This is a very rich experience and can only have benefits, lots of benefits. Even to be part of that conference situation, to be involved in the dinners, to listen to the speakers, to hear other students talking, to showcase their work in front of other students and for other students to showcase their work to them. It's good stuff.
Have you enjoyed the process of seeing these kids develop?
Oh, definitely. I always enjoy working with kids and seeing them go from having little knowledge or a little bit of enthusiasm to being, as I said, quite expert in the field.
Following the River Conference in Adelaide, Take Action Think Frogs was presented again to the parents and families of the Sacred Heart student delegates. This was a wonderful opportunity for the girls to not only showcase their work and celebrate achievements, but to share the knowledge with their loved ones about the importance of frogs in biodiversity. Although this marked the final presentation of the Take Action Think Frogs project, the hard work and dedication of these students is testament to the educational model of kids teaching kids. No doubt their work will have a lasting impact on all those who participated in Merlin's Magic Game and who took the pledge to protect Australia's special frogs. How important are frogs in our environment, and what would you like to say to adults that are watching this film?
Well, I'd say to the adults, learn from these children. These children have found out how important frogs are. They've found out, our children, that frogs are the real bioindicators. They're the first things to disappear when things go wrong in the environment. And the fact that we've lost 1/3 of our frog population throughout the world is a real wake-up call. We need to take note. We need to really take notice that these frogs are disappearing because something's wrong in our environment. They're bioindicators. They disappear when things are not right in the environment. They are affected by the pesticides, by the pollutants, by the damage we actually do to the land when we damage their habitats. And they're also affected by, and this is where the children were really upset about this, they're affected by a virus that is affecting frogs worldwide, and even in the most pristine areas, frogs are dying out. We've got the beautiful little frog up in Canberra region, the corroboree frog, that's very close to extinction. And it's a beautiful environment that it lives in. It's not a damaged habitat, but this frog is being killed off by the chytrid virus. Now, until my children started researching frogs, I had no idea about the chytrid virus. I had no idea about how precious our frogs are and how important they are to what they're saying to us about the environment.
Thank you, Rosemary.